Hello, my name is Rachel and I'm here today to do the end of the year book tag. So this is a book tag that was just started by Ariel, which I will link down below, and it's basically about trying to make plans and stuff like that for your reading for the end of the year. So yeah, it sounded fun. I'm going to get started with the questions. Question number 1 is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, obviously. I'm just going with the books that I saw when I walked in my room, but to be honest, there's probably more. I am one of those people who reads so many books at once and am such a mood reader in a way that I don't think other people are mood readers, in that I wake up on a Sunday and I'm like, oh, I'm going to start a new book today because it's a Sunday. That often happens. I try and start poetry collections on Sundays because I can finish them in a day, and I enjoy that a lot. But yeah, I don't know why I do that, but it means that I have a lot of books I want to finish. So first I have all the books that I am currently reading now. So the first one is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The second one is When Breath Becomes Air, What Makes Life Worth Living in the Face of Death by Paul Kalanithi. This is his autobiography sort of thing about his life once he got diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer. He was a neurosurgeon before, and it's about him moving from the person in charge and knowing what's going on to becoming the patient and being confused and having to try and be hopeful, even though he kind of knows the statistics of what's going to happen, which I've already seen happening so far, in that him thinking this sounds like cancer in his head because he knows the symptoms, but putting it off and pretending that's not what it would be. So yeah, I'm not very far into this. I've only really read the prologue and the foreword and stuff, but it is definitely one that I want to finish this month, really. Then I have The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This one I started right at the end of October, and I am 60 pages into, and again, I want to finish this by the end of the month. I'm really enjoying it. But the thing I find with the Penguin cloth bounds is that the writing can be a little bit on the small side for what I prefer reading. So then it means that I will not pick this up before I go to bed, and I will not pick this up when I want to have a big reading session, because I want to read a lot of pages and I'll get annoyed that I'll sit for an hour and only read 10 or 20 pages. So yeah, but there is that one, and I do really want to finish it. I have The Secret Loves of Geek Girls, and this is a non-fiction anthology from a lot of different authors and illustrators, just about little things about their life. I've been just dipping in and out of this, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm on page 68. And then I have 2 books that I was reading before and really want to finish, but just haven't picked up in a while. The first one is The Night is Darkening Around Me by Emily Bronte. This is just a collection of her poetry. I am about halfway through this, but I do really want to finish it this month, so I'm going to hopefully be picking that up this week. And then the other one I'm annoyed that I put down, and it is The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. I am 73 pages into this. I think I've read 4 or 5 of the short stories, and I've enjoyed every single one. I thought it was fantastic, and I've thought about this a lot, and every time I see it on my shelf I think, I wish I was reading that. But for some reason, I've just put it down for a while, and I think it's because the stories are self-contained. I find it harder to pick them up because I only want to pick it up when I know I can read a full story. So I won't pick it up if I'm on public transport because I won't finish a full story in one sitting. Or I wouldn't pick it up before bed because I might get tired and not finish it in one sitting, and it annoys me. So yeah, but I have been watching Black Mirror at the moment, and it really reminds me of this in terms of there are some stories in here that are science fiction-y, technology, that sort of thing. There was a really good one with a storyline similar to one of the Black Mirror episodes where someone has this machine in the head that's setting them up on dates and getting everything ready for them, and they're kind of like an assistant, but they have access to all of your life in in a weird way, and it was very like the Black Mirror episode, and I was watching it thinking that it was like this, and that I was annoyed that I hadn't picked this up. So I do really want to pick up more of this. I don't know if I will finish it by the end of the year, but I want to definitely read another like 4 or 5 stories from it, because I don't mind with short story collections if I want to take my time with it, like with The Secret Loves of Geek Girls. I'm taking my time with that and I'm enjoying doing that. So if I want to take my time with this, I'm fine with that. I can do that, but I just want to make sure I'm actually getting to it, because I am enjoying it. That was a really, really long answer to that question. That's annoying. Okay, question number 2. Do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? Yes, I have Autumn by Ali Smith. Question number 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? Yes, and I'm hoping to get them for Christmas. They're all on my Christmas list. So the first one is The Beginning of the World at the End of the Night by Jen Campbell. This is a short story collection that is kind of magical realism, kind of fairy tale-esque, from what I can gather. And the other is the 2 new Harry Potter books, which is the first one, A History of Magic, which kind of goes into the history of magic in the Harry Potter world, but also the history of the magic system and how it relates to like classical history. And then the other one is the illustrated edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I've always wanted the full collector's library edition of the, it had Tales of Beedle the Bard, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Quidditch Through the Ages in. But I didn't like some of the editions, and I thought I would not read that, so I shouldn't buy it, and it always put me off buying it. And so I got Tales of Beedle the Bard because I knew I would read it, but I knew I wouldn't read the Fantastic Beasts one. And now I'm so glad I didn't buy it, because I would actually read the illustrated edition because it's beautiful. And so it means that I didn't buy the one I wouldn't read, and now it's like I've been given a prize for not buying it. So that's awesome. Next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So the first one is Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. This is one that I just saw in a shop and decided to pick up because I wanted like a quick thrillery type read. I haven't read a good thriller in a while. I did read Gone Girl a few months ago, but because I'd seen the film before and I already knew the story, it was a bit annoying. But I want like a really like all-consuming thriller. Like I'm in the mood for that. I always like reading them around November. And this one sounds really, really good. Also, I have a massive crush on Kristen Ritter and have for quite a while because she's a bitch and sarcastic in things, which I enjoy. So I felt like I had to get this. This is basically a thriller about a girl who goes back to her old town that she used to live in, and she is now an environmental lawyer and investigating like a corporation dumping waste in a lake or something along those lines. And it's about her going back and kind of seeing about that and seeing about some stuff in the past as well. And I'm guessing they might tie together a little bit. So I'm really excited for this. I actually saw this on Simon from Savage Reads channel, and he was really, really complimentary about this and said how great this book was, which is great because when I bought it I was a little bit unsure, just because obviously when famous people write books sometimes they got the deal because they were famous and not because they were good writers, which can be a bit annoying. But yes, I'm hopeful for this one. Then I have The Sun and Her Flowers, which I've mentioned many times on this channel wanting to read, so I'm not going to mention it again, but I'm planning to read this by the end of November. This is by Rupi Kaur, who wrote Milk and Honey, which was one of my favourite books, poetry collections ever, and yeah, so I'm hoping to pick that one up. That's her most recent poetry collection. And then I have We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is supposed to be like the perfect autumn read, and it's autumn, so I'm really hoping to pick this one up. This one is supposed to be about a family living in an old estate. 2 of the girls who were part of the family left and have just come back, and apparently the villagey type place that they live isn't happy that they've come back because they think they played some part in a murder, or they think there's some like fishy circumstances going on to do with the murder of someone in their family. At least that's as much as I can gather. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for this one. And it's quite short, so I feel like it could be a good one to get to soon. So I'm hoping to get to them by the end of the year. The next question, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year? Yes. So there's one that I think is more likely because I will definitely read it before the end of the year, and it is Moonrise by Sarah Crossan. So this is Sarah Crossan's new book, and it is about a boy whose brother has been on death row for a while. He's not seen him for ages, and now his execution date is quickly approaching, and it kind of follows that. The reason I think this could be one of my favourite books is that I read one, I think I read it last year or at the start of this year, I can't remember, but I read one by Sarah Crossan which was about two conjoined twins, and it was written in a similar style to this. She has a very specific style where she kind of writes in blank verse poetry, but it tells a story, and it's so interesting to read, and you eat it up really quickly. And I really enjoyed it with one, and it stuck with me the way she told that story because it's so just different from everything else. So I do think this could also be one of my favourites just because I know that I find this style so interesting. And this is already the winner of the Carnegie Medal, so that's a good sign. And that leads on to, have you already started making reading plans for 2018? Yes. I've been quite annoyed this year because I set my Goodreads goal to read 100 books this year, which, I mean, I really, really want to hit that goal. I just wanted to see how many books I could read in a year because I've never ever measured it before, so I had nothing to go on. And I do think I will end up doing it. I think I'm on like 75 now. So I've got like 6 weeks to read 25 books, which seems like a lot, but I have a lot of poetry collections to read. So I don't actually think it'll be that difficult. But one thing that's really bothered me this year is because I have had this 100 goal, I've like not picked up books because of that goal. And two of the main books I've not picked up are these two that I've wanted to read so much this year and just haven't picked up, and I know it's because of that Goodreads goal. So I'm not going to be doing that next year. I'm going to set my Goodreads goal to like 50 books because I will easily hit 50 books in the year. I think I hit 50 books in April this year. I'm just going to be reading what I want to read, and I think I will just enjoy that a hell of a lot more. So that's the goal for next year. And other goals I have, one of the goals I have is to read all of Jane Austen's works. So I have currently read Northanger Abbey and Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I do want to reread both of them, and then I also want to read all these. I want to read them in publication order. And yeah, it's just, I have all these beautiful books which I got this year and just really want to read. And also I just really want to read all of Jane Austen's works. I feel like she's a good one to start with because she doesn't have like a ton of books, so she's a good author to try and read in a year. I also have Lady Susan, Beautiful Clarissa, I think it's Beautiful Clarissa, something along those lines, downstairs as well, so I'll be reading them. And yeah, that's what I want to do this year. So I do want to read the ones I've already read as well, and then I want to read these, and all in publication order, which I think is very doable in the year because it's only like one every 2 months. So I'm very excited for that. And then my other goal is I want to make more open goals that will just make me happy. So like, what I mean by that is I made really specific goals at the start of this year. I mean, number one, it's not really my fault because I moved to Switzerland and I just couldn't have all the books here that I was hoping to read at the start of the year. So I couldn't have that specific set of books that I was hoping to read with me. So, I mean, that's kind of not my fault, but also I think I just went too specific. I had a list of like 20 books I was hoping to read this year, and although I probably have read about 5, maybe 7, something like that, of those books, I just gave myself too much to do, And it was just ridiculous, like why would I do that? So I'm not going to be doing that this year. I'm going to be making goals like read all the graphic novels you have that you've not read yet, because I love reading graphic novels, or read 5 non-fiction books, because I enjoy non-fiction, but it's one that I pick up at the spur of the moment, and kind of it depends what topic I am leaning towards. So I think I have read at least like 5 or 6 non-fiction books this year. So I had this big list of non-fiction books that I was aiming to read this year, which number 1 was ridiculous. I do not read non-fiction like that. I just don't. And so, yeah, I am just going to set goals like read this much of this, read this much of this. And also I went through my list of what I'd read this year, and it wasn't a good list. And I think it's definitely due to the fact that I had the Goodreads goal, and I was trying to read books that weren't too big, and I was trying to read more of this and that and this and that. So I'm just not going to be having that this year. I'm going to just pick up the books that I really want to read. I have so many books downstairs that I think will be 5 stars, and I think are going to be some of my favourite books of all time, and I just don't pick them up. And so that's what I'm going to be aiming for this year in my goals, is just picking up things that I think will be favourites, and I think that I'm going to really, really enjoy, and I'm just going to not really care about the reading goals and things like that. Because to be fair, if I'm really, really enjoying books, I probably will pick up and read more books. So yeah, so that was my end of the year book tag, which was way, way longer than all the other ones of these that I've seen, so that's a bit annoying. But yes, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!